Hey guys, it's MJ, and this video we're talking about the derivative disaster that could hit Bitcoin, and we're going to be also talking about something called Tether and why it's a potential time bomb. Now, I have got comments in the past saying, why is there so much hate? Why is there so much negativity around all these things? The truth is that if you want to make it in finance, you have to be so skeptical. You have to challenge everybody's assumptions. You need to assume the worst out of these financial people, assume that their motives are purely greed, and see, is there any way that they might be disrupting the market to their favor and to your potential loss? So with that said, let's jump straight into the video. And what was a big inspiration for this video was a comment that I got on my previous video. The previous video spoke about how Bitcoin's crash could come about from one of these ICOs going sour. Now, there is a potential ICO or coin company thing that is not looking very good right now. And there's something known as Tether. And Tether was quite a nice idea. The idea was that you give us some American dollars and we give you this token. And we can redeem this token at 1-for-1, and it kind of becomes a pseudo dollar in the crypto universe that can facilitate in the trading and transactions of these cryptocurrencies. Fantastic news. The problem though is that all the money that they gave to get these tokens to this company, a lot of that money has disappeared. And there's been quite a lot of push, people saying they want an audit report, they want to know more about it, they want to get all this information. And recently they've just announced that $30 million has vanished. So this is quite scary. It means that Tether, that if you come to try and redeem your US dollars for Tether, you're not going to get that. So that is a major disruption. They say they got hacked, that the money's got stolen, but they've only now released that statement where if you go on Reddit and you see some other posts, people have been calling this out for quite a while. Now, why is this a problem at this time? Well, what's also happening is we're going to be seeing Bitcoin futures being released on a major regulated exchange. So at the moment, you can go to some dark corners of the internet and you can engage in some derivative trading with Bitcoin. As an individual, you can approach anybody else and set up a Bitcoin derivative. This is known as a forward. It's a customized, personalized instrument where you create this transaction between two people. But now what's happening is we're going to be seeing these forwards are going to be converted to something known as futures. These are standardized contracts on a proper exchange. And what that does is means the liquidity or the total amount in these derivatives is going to expand exponentially. There's going to be a lot more money, flowing between these contracts. And that's a bit of a bad thing for Bitcoin, because what that now means, it means people can now make a considerable amount of money if the Bitcoin price goes down. So I've been thinking, who can make the Bitcoin price go down? The miners, they have a little bit of power. We saw them with Bitcoin Cash. They took away their processing power and there was a little bit of disruption, but it wasn't that big. So who actually holds the power to pull the price down? And just looking in the past, we saw with Mt. Gox I think it was back in 2014, when their exchange had some difficulties, we saw the price drop quite drastically. Nowadays, there are more exchanges. The exchanges aren't as centralized as they were back then, but they still are pretty centralized. You just need to go and look at one of those Bitcoin graphs, which show the amount of coins per address, and you'll see that vast amount of coins are being held by just a few addresses, and these are the addresses of the exchanges. So what happens is a lot of people buy Bitcoin, but they leave them in an exchange, which means the exchange owns the coins and not the individual. Now, there's nothing stopping an exchange from turning off, taking the Bitcoin and saying, cheers guys, let's run. But what exchange would do that? Because it would absolutely decimate their business. An exchange would only do that if they were nearing bankruptcy or if they were having problems. And this is where the Tether thing becomes very interesting, because Tether and Bitfinex, they have this really weird relationship where they kind of, look, if I had to be super skeptical and throw out a crazy conspiracy, it would be that when the future market comes alive and people can start doing it, a lot of people are going to go long on the futures because they want to leverage the Bitcoin price increase. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitfinex and Tether and these guys go in and take out massive short positions. And they can maybe, won't freak anybody out because they can say it's insurance, it's, hedging their risk. But I think they're going to take out these massive short positions. And then I think they're going to start dumping Bitcoin left, right, and center. And then just to add insult to injury, we might even see them flip the switch and turn off their exchange. If that happens, we could potentially see a shockwave go through the Bitcoin market. And this could even affect all the altcoins as well, because in extreme market conditions, there is a lot of correlation and we do see diversification benefits dissipate. So what could potentially happen, and remember, this is worst case scenario, the probability of it happening, it's not that likely. So don't panic, but please be aware that this is a possibility that an exchange abuses the derivative market, makes a big short play, which means they're going to make a lot of money if the price goes down, and then they shut down their own exchange, which then freaks everybody out because it means people can't pull out their money of that exchange, which means everybody around the world now rushes to pull money out of their exchanges, kind of like a bank run. And what that's going to do is going to pull the price to minimal levels. We're going to see an absolute, well, if this happens, we could see the Bitcoin price get obliterated. And then who would gain? Who would gain once the price has been obliterated? The exchange. And this is what freaks me out, is that with these derivative markets, there shouldn't be someone who has the power to manipulate the price and get such a massive advantage. And that's what we're seeing. And what makes me scared is that Bitfinex and Tether, there is some dodgy stuff happening. They've just announced that they've lost 30 million US dollars. And I'm wondering if they're going to take advantage of this whole derivative opportunity and absolutely crash the market. In a regulated market, you're not allowed to do this. You can go to jail for doing this. But in the crypto market, pumps and dumps, ramping, and a whole bunch of other things that you're not allowed to do on normal exchanges, because the stuff is mainly unregulated, you're free to do it. And that we might see a manipulation of the derivative market. So that's me being super, super skeptical. I know I'm going to get a lot of messages like I got with the ICO, like, oh, you're so negative, you're hating this game. But I just thought it's always better to be aware of all the possibilities and understand the massive risks that you have by holding Bitcoin and by being part of this amazing new piece of technology. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks guys for watching. Cheers.